Imagine you're trying to send your best friend a jar of honey, but instead of a proper, secure jar, you use an old, leaky bag. What do you think happens? A sticky mess everywhere. That's exactly what happened when people tried to transport oil in the early days. They used barrels, big, heavy, wooden ones, that often leaked and wasted a lot of oil. Not only was it messy, but it was also expensive and inefficient. Shipping oil this way made it nearly impossible to sell it far from where it was found. Industries struggled to get the oil they needed to power their machines, and the world was desperate for a better solution. This was a huge challenge, and someone had to step up with a new idea to change everything. How did they fix this problem? Let's dive into the story to find out. Marcus Samuel's vision. Marcus Samuel wasn't just an ordinary businessman, he was a visionary. His family sold decorative seashells, and this background gave him an eye for creativity and opportunities. But what really set him apart was his ability to solve big problems. When he saw how inefficient oil transport was, he had a groundbreaking idea: what if oil could be transported directly in specialized ships rather than in barrels? He also realized that by using the newly built Suez Canal, a shortcut across the seas, he could save time and money while making oil transport much easier. But Marcus didn't just stop at ideas. He worked hard to convince wealthy investors, like the Rothschild family, to back his plan. It wasn't easy, but Marcus's boldness paid off. He started designing ships that would revolutionize the oil industry forever. By the way, have you checked if you're subscribed yet? If not, this is the perfect time. These stories are like treasures, and subscribing ensures you don't miss the next big discovery. The tanker revolution. Marcus Samuel's innovation came to life with the creation of oil tankers, specialized ships designed to carry oil in bulk. These tankers eliminated the need for barrels entirely. Instead, oil was poured directly into large, sealed compartments within the ship. This invention solved several major problems. No more leaks. The oil was safely contained. More oil could be transported in one trip. Shipping became much faster and cheaper, opening up global markets. The first oil tanker, Murex, made history by successfully traveling through the Suez Canal. It was a game changer. Soon, tankers were crisscrossing oceans, transforming the oil business into a global powerhouse. This was the moment when oil truly became the lifeblood of modern industry. Thanks to Marcus's vision, the world entered a new era of energy and innovation. The formation of Shell. After Marcus Samuel's tanker success, his company grew rapidly. But they faced stiff competition from another company, Royal Dutch Petroleum. Both were racing to dominate the oil market, and the rivalry was intense. Eventually, both companies realized that by joining forces, they could achieve much more than by competing. In 1907, they merged to create Royal Dutch Shell. This partnership combined the strengths of both companies. Shell handled transportation and sales, while Royal Dutch focused on oil production. The name, Shell, came from Marcus's family business selling seashells, and the logo, a simple shell design, became a symbol of trust and innovation. Over time, it evolved into the iconic red and yellow logo we know today. Speaking of partnerships, have you subscribed yet? By joining us, you're helping fuel more amazing stories like this, and ensuring you never miss out on the next chapter. Role in World Wars. When the world went to war, oil became one of the most valuable resources. Tanks, planes, ships, almost every war machine ran on fuel. Shell became a critical player, supplying the Allied forces with the oil they needed to power their equipment. But Shell's journey during the wars wasn't without challenges. When Germany invaded Romania in World War I, Shell lost a significant part of its oil supply. Despite this setback, they found new ways to keep the fuel flowing. In World War II, Shell developed specialized fuels for aircraft and warships, ensuring that the Allies had the edge they needed. Their tankers braved dangerous seas, delivering vital resources that helped shape the outcome of the wars. By the end of these conflicts, Shell had cemented its reputation not just as a business but as a crucial partner in global efforts. 20th century expansion. The 1900s were a time of rapid technological advancements. Cars, planes, and factories were revolutionizing daily life, and they all needed one thing: oil. Shell was ready to meet this growing demand. They didn't just supply oil, they were part of major milestones. For example, they powered the first successful flight across the English Channel and provided fuel for record-breaking car races. As their business expanded, Shell built massive refineries and set up gas stations in countries around the world. By the 1930s, they were producing 10% of the world's crude oil, making them the largest oil company on the planet. Shell's iconic red and yellow logo became a symbol of progress and reliability, appearing on gas stations, trucks, and even promotional materials. They weren't just selling oil, they were shaping the modern world. Environmental and climate impact. As Shell grew, so did concerns about the environmental impact of burning oil. By the 1980s, scientists, including those within Shell, warned that burning oil released carbon dioxide, contributing to global warming. Shell's researchers predicted serious consequences, like rising sea levels and extreme weather. However, instead of acting on these warnings, the company downplayed the risks to protect their profits. Years later, when these early warnings came to light, Shell faced heavy criticism. While the company now invests in renewable energy projects, many argue they should have taken action much earlier to address climate change. Current challenges and criticism. Today, Shell is at a crossroads. On one hand, they talk about transitioning to cleaner energy sources like wind and solar power. On the other hand, most of their investments still go into oil and gas. Critics accuse Shell of greenwashing, claiming they promote an eco-friendly image without making meaningful changes. While Shell supports global climate agreements, many believe they need to act faster and invest more heavily in renewable energy. This balancing act between profitability and sustainability is one of the biggest challenges Shell faces as they navigate the future. Legacy and future of Shell. Shell's journey is a story of innovation, resilience, and transformation. They've gone from selling seashells to becoming one of the largest energy companies in the world. But with great success comes great responsibility. As the world moves toward renewable energy, Shell must decide whether to lead the way or stick to traditional methods. The choices they make now will shape not just their legacy, but also the future of energy and the environment. By the way, have you checked if you're subscribed yet? Subscribing ensures you stay connected to powerful stories like this and helps us keep delivering content that matters to you. Shell's innovation beyond oil. Shell's story isn't just about oil, it's also about innovation. Over the years, the company expanded its reach by exploring new energy sources and investing in technology that goes beyond traditional fossil fuels. For example, natural gas. Shell became one of the largest producers of liquefied natural gas, LNG, which is cleaner than oil and widely used in power generation and transportation. Renewable energy projects. Shell has begun investing in solar farms, wind turbines, and even hydrogen fuel technology. While these investments are small compared to their oil operations, they represent a step toward diversifying their energy portfolio. Electric vehicle charging stations. To keep up with the rise of electric cars, Shell has installed thousands of EV charging points across the globe, signaling a shift in focus toward greener transportation. These moves show that Shell is trying to adapt to a changing world. But the question remains, are they moving fast enough? The global energy transition. The world is changing. Countries and companies are setting ambitious goals to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and shift to renewable energy. Shell is caught in the middle of this transformation. Commitments. Shell has pledged to reach net zero emissions by 2050, aligning with global climate goals. Challenges. Transitioning to renewable energy is expensive and requires rethinking decades of business practices. Critics argue that Shell's investments in renewables are still too small to make a real impact. Opportunities: as one of the largest energy companies, Shell has the resources and expertise to lead the transition. If they succeed, they could redefine their legacy and set an example for the entire industry. The question is, will Shell embrace this challenge or fall behind in the race for a cleaner future? 12. What the future holds for Shell. Shell stands at a critical moment in its history. The company's decisions today will shape not only its own future but also the future of global energy and the planet. Potential paths forward. Lead the green revolution, invest heavily in renewable energy, become a leader in sustainability, and drive the global transition away from fossil fuels. Stick to the status quo, continue focusing on oil and gas, but risk losing relevance as the world moves toward greener alternatives. What's at stake? Shell's reputation, profitability, and ability to adapt to a rapidly changing energy landscape. Their choice could either cement their position as a pioneer in energy or leave them behind as a relic of the past. This story is far from over. Shell's journey reminds us of the power of innovation, the challenges of responsibility, and the urgency of change. And hey, if you've made it this far, you're clearly someone who values these insights. Have you checked if you're subscribed yet? Subscribing helps us keep bringing you important stories like this while fueling a community of curious minds. Let's stay connected as we explore what the future holds for Shell and beyond. Shell stands at a critical moment in its history. The company's decisions today will shape not only its own future but also the future of global energy and the planet. Potential paths forward. Lead the green revolution, invest heavily in renewable energy, become a leader in sustainability, and drive the global transition away from fossil fuels. Stick to the status quo, continue focusing on oil and gas, but risk losing relevance as the world moves toward greener alternatives. What's at stake? Shell's reputation, profitability, and ability to adapt to a rapidly changing energy landscape. Their choice could either cement their position as a pioneer in energy or leave them behind as a relic of the past. This story is far from over. Shell's journey reminds us of the power of innovation, the challenges of responsibility, and the urgency of change. And hey, if you've made it this far, you're clearly someone who values these insights. Have you checked if you're subscribed yet? Subscribing helps us keep bringing you important stories like this while fueling a community of curious minds. Let's stay connected as we explore what the future holds for Shell and beyond. Before we wrap up, let's think about this. Shell's story is one of bold ideas, innovation, and choices that shaped the world. And now, they're at a crossroads, just like all of us face decisions in life that can define our path. If you've enjoyed this journey through Shell's incredible history, why not take a moment to support stories like this? Subscribing is quick, free, and ensures you're part of a growing community of curious minds who value insights, discovery, and staying ahead. So, have you checked if you're subscribed yet? If not, now's the perfect time. Click that button below, and let's keep exploring stories that fuel inspiration and knowledge together. After all, every great journey starts with a single step, or in this case, a single click. Let's make it happen.